Okay guys, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a quick recap of the feudal system, medieval feudal system in Europe, and we'll do the Japanese one later. Instead of giving you a picture, I thought I would do something a little bit different and explain it while I am drawing it. So let's see how this works. So essentially we know in a feudal system we have that kind of pyramid looking thing. Okay, that's kind of how we use it to describe the feudal system. So if we then have a look over here, we can kind of divide it like that, and divide it like that, and then divide it like that. And that's kind of like what your feudal system will look like. So let's see if we can do here. So up here, you know, the big man at the top here, we have the king. Okay, so we know he's the boss. Alright, so we'll have our king, you know, there he's there. It's a really, you know, well, you need a crown, you know, because he's the king. So he's kind of at the top, alright, in charge of everything. And we do know, you know, we talk about it, we've got up here, you know, we've got God, and he's kind of floating around there in the clouds, I guess, generally just being angry at the people, because they're angry. But in terms of the feudal system, we don't have to worry about him. Okay, so let's get rid of God. He's out of the picture. So it's really the king that we're focusing on. Okay, so we know the king's at the top, and of course I think we know he's happy because he's rich. And we know, I think at the bottom we have our peasants. Okay, so they're down here, our little peasants. So I'm just trying to do two things at once. So our peasants are here, and sometimes they're also called serfs. Okay, but that's kind of, we'll go with that one. Okay, or if you want to do serfs, that's fine. Maybe because we'll just think of a little surfboard. You know, they like surfing. Anyway, they're serfs. So they're at the bottom. So the peasants, look, they're the poor guys, I suppose. Okay, so we'll put the peasants down here. I guess it would be sad to be a peasant. He's skinny, I guess. And what the peasants generally do is they're there to farm the land. So here's the land, lots of land there. We've got our peasants, you know, they're working hard on that land. Yay, you know, radishes. So they're farming the land, they're getting all the food. Okay, excellent. So that's what the peasants do. So then these peasants, okay, they got to work for somebody. So what they do is these peasants kind of work for these guys up here, and these are the knights. Okay, GHT, knights. There we go. These are the knights. Okay, so these guys are the ones with the swords and the shields. You know, there's their shield there, and they've got a big sword. So we'll do our knight. I probably should give myself more room here to draw. There's our knight, and you know, he's got a really big sword. Actually, that looks like a lightsaber. So they didn't have lightsabers. There was a sword. They're the knights. Okay, so the peasants here, they farm the food for these knights. And what do these knights do? You know, whoops, I didn't know that. These knights will kind of repay that. It wasn't all just about give. So these knights would then, in repay for that food, they would protect, you know, these guys. Because it's important. They protect the peasants. If they didn't protect the peasants, they wouldn't get food. They go hungry. They can't play with their lightsabers. So then the knights, alright, the point of having the knights, alright, is then they kind of worked for the guys above them, which were the barons. Okay, so barons here. I should really put Ash's video. I think I will. Actually, I'm going to edit this right now, and then I'm going to have Ash's video here. So they worked for the barons. Okay, and the barons also were called, you know, you might hear them called the lords as well. Okay, lords, but essentially the barons. And so the knights worked for the barons. Okay, so they protected those guys as well. So the knights kind of protected these guys. Wow. Well, that's a good thing with this. I can undo, so I can fix up my bad writing. So they protect the barons. Okay, and then what these barons did, okay, so finally got the king on the top there. These barons would then work for the king, and they would give them aid, you know, military aid. So I've got some Miles Davis going on here as well. So military aid, because remember they had the knights working for the barons, so they would offer the king that military aid. And they'd also give them, which is probably really more important too, is the barons would give these guys loyalty. Okay, so they would say, right, whoops, this king is the king. You know, we'll be loyal to him. We'll do what he says. So that's kind of how it works. So that's kind of that tree there, and it comes down as well. So what the king gave the barons. So maybe I'll change colours. Can I do that? There we go. So the king gave these guys here land. Okay, so they gave them land. And they was kind of just borrowing it, really, because the king still owned everything. So he gave them land. And then the barons obviously wanted the knights. So in return, the barons gave the knights land. And then the knights here gave these peasants a little bit of land. But mostly they gave them the land to work on, okay, and to farm. And well, they got some of the food, so they stayed alive. So that's kind of how this system worked. I'm guessing I would like to be up here, but that's the system. So peasants at the bottom here, they worked on the farm to give food to the knights, okay, and the knights would also protect them. The knights would work for these barons, okay, they would protect the barons and they would work for them. The barons gave them land because of that. And then finally the barons would give aid to the king and most importantly this loyalty, alright, to say whatever he says goes. Alright, they would give him the baron loyalty, the king loyalty, and then in exchange they got the land. So there we go, that's kind of the explanation. I thought this was going to be simple, but now that I look at this looks like it's come across more confusing. Anyway, so peasants work for the knights, they farm the land, they give them food, knights protect them, okay. Knights then work for the barons, alright, and they protect the barons as well, and the barons in exchange gave them land. Barons work for the king, they got land in exchange for loyalty. There we go. Feudal system.